Hello, everyone. This is John Drennen, sales manager at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation in Las Vegas. I'm here again with Adam Levitt, our national director in our renovation loan department. He is the man, the myth, the legend. He's going to be able to tell us any and everything we need to know. And today's subject matter on the renovation loans is going to be the general contractors. It's important to understand that you can't just go hire a handyman. You can't just go ahead and say, I'm going to GC my own property. I'm just going to, hire a bunch of people in different trades. We have a process to get your general contractor approved. And we also have a list of individuals and companies that have already been approved in the multiple states that we're licensed in. Once again, we're licensed in 50 states, and I'm personally licensed in 18 states. So we're just going to jump right in it. Once again, Adam's going to be the man of the hour. He's going to tell us all the goods and bads and the requirements. He's also going to differentiate a little bit if there's anything unique about the process with a 2 or 3K FHA loan or the conventional home style renovation. So Adam Levitt, my dear friend, thank you very much for being on. Talk to us. Tell us what we need to know.
Yeah, thanks again, John. So the contractor is key to the equation here, because you have somebody who's found a property they want to purchase, or maybe they're an existing homeowner and they want to go ahead and refinance and rehab their existing property. Well, they need a contractor, and they will a lot of times come to us or come to any one of our branches and say, can you recommend somebody? And how great would it be to be able to have somebody who's already been approved and validated with Fairway? And what I mean by that is they give us their contractor profile. Whatever job they're proposing to do, they've done before. Really simple. They have whatever licensing is required by the state or city. So if Clark County requires something different than the state of Nevada or whatever, we go by whatever they require. There's certain states like Texas doesn't require a contractor to have a general contractor's license, so we don't ask for it. Really, really simple stuff. Other than that, general liability insurance, just really, really basic stuff. And two things to note: the contractor is not party to the loan, so nobody is pulling personal credit, because that would be a RESPA violation. So all we're doing is making sure that they have the experience to do what they want to do, and they have the appropriate insurance. Now,
and guess what? Why are we doing that, Adam? We're doing it to protect the consumer, number one. And we're also going to protect ourselves because we're the lender lending all this money.
I could not have said it. So what we like to say is we don't take sides in the consumer and the contractor. We're all in protecting the collateral and everybody, because if you're borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're lending hundreds of thousands of dollars, yeah, you want to make sure that you have trust in, I can afford the loan from the consumer standpoint, and the contractor is qualified to do the job. So are there contractors that we have that an existing buyer can choose from? Yeah. Are there more states where we do more loans where there's more of a list? Yeah. So that's something that we can do. We never want to steer or refer. We want to say, here's a bunch, go ahead and pick. Now, the general contractor does not need to be approved by the agencies like FHA or conventional loans. They need to be approved with Fairway, but that's a huge misnomer that they need to be on this list or anything like that. So, but I want you to think about this for a second. If you are selecting a contractor who has worked with Fairway or has worked with renovation loans in general, that's half the battle, because they know things need to be broken down in a certain way when you're using financing that, John, me or you would probably not ask a contractor to do if we were using cash or an equity line or whatever. And what's really funny is a lot of times when people are doing that, they don't really ask the contractor for references. They don't ask to see their insurance. They don't ask to see the license. So it actually protects everybody involved, just to make sure, well, hang on a second, we're validating this contractor you want to use, but they're not licensed and they don't have insurance. So, we cannot use them. We don't want to be Debbie Downer, but at the end of the day, do you really want to be involved in a project where your contractor doesn't have a license and what's required, and they don't have the insurance? So we try to make it really easy and say, this is what the contractor needs. The process of getting the contractor approved and validated is extremely simple. And the best part is we have contractors that want to get approved with us in advance. And that way we can say, hey, here you go. Contractor's already gone through the process, which again is simple. 24 hours for us just to go ahead and get their stuff. And then the only difference is each project is unique and different. So we have a contractor who might be approved with us and they'll go ahead and put on a second story, and someone else might just do a simple kitchen remodel or something like that. So that really affects the timing because it's going to make the process go faster. The contractor already knows exactly how we want something broken down. And as we've talked about before, all of those things are going to affect the loan closing faster because it's just going to reduce or really eliminate the back and forth with the things that a contractor might not know who's not familiar with Reno. And, it's just kind of like every little step of the process, you were explaining it. Whereas, oh yeah, I know you want it broken down. I'm already approved, or hey, here's my license and insurance. Because as soon as we cross that milestone, now we can get to order the appraisal, get the appraisal in, and then underwrite the loan. That is the key. So I don't know what kind of thoughts you have based on that.
No, I mean, that's great. I mean, if I'm a consumer and I want to use somebody I want to use, understand that builder, that contractor is going to have to provide all the documentation. And it could take 24, 48 hours, depending on how quickly. If the builder has everything at their fingertips, maybe somebody in the office can just shoot it over and we're rocking and rolling. But then there might be some builders that are just going to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to provide this, or I don't have the minimum insurance or something. And then all of a sudden we can't help that client. Having somebody who already understands and respects the Fairway way, and is already approved. We're not, like I said, we're not pushing anybody. We're not getting kickbacks or anything from these builders. No, we're doing it to protect the consumer, but we have to protect our lending institution Fairway by making sure we have our checks and balances all taken care of. Now, with that being said, that process is going to be very similar for both loans, but is there anything that's really different when it comes to the process in regards to the actual draws and how that works, maybe with the FHA 2 or 3K or home style? If I remember correctly, on the FHA 2 or 3Ks, do they still require the HUD consultant to be involved that they used to do, or is that something that they don't do anymore? Can you maybe elaborate on that?
Great question. So the contractor piece is the same across the board regarding what they need to do to be approved or be validated. The draw process, so there's 5 different rental products. 4 of them, you actually get what we call an upfront draw. So when you're talking to the contractor and they're thinking like, okay, option A is to go to Adam or John and say, hey, I need a check for a deposit or anything like that. There's no lender, there's no bank, there's no nothing. It's just me writing a check. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't object to that. And I fully understand if a contractor wants to work that way. But a lot of the contractors don't realize that you get this upfront draw. So let's talk about a conventional loan for a second. So the guidelines say that the contractor is allowed to get 50% of the material costs upfront. And the word upfront means the loan closes in its as-is condition. I have that contractor's scope of work. Let's just say that they're doing a $100,000 project and $50,000 is material and 50 is labor. So 2 days after the loan closes, they get the welcome email from our draw team, and they're allowed to get 50% of whatever's in the material column. So they have $50,000 allocated for materials, and here's the email, here's all the information how you request a draw. And we say, hey, would you like to get a 50% draw, which means $25,000. And this is 2 days after the loan closes. So usually the project hasn't even started yet, and the contractor is getting this money. And it's a dual party check that goes out to the borrower and the contractor. And just again, huge misconception, because the only product that you don't get any money in advance is the 2 or 3K standard that requires the HUD consultant. Now, that's it. And if you listen to my dog hears me talk about this all the time, so I apologize, but there's so many misconceptions out there with contractors that are like, oh, the paperwork, oh, the money and everything. And again, John and I are used to that. So we let the contractors say that. We let the borrower say, well, I want to get this contractor, but they don't want to deal with lender financing because of the paperwork and the money, and you don't get any money. And it just really provides us an opening, an opportunity to go, well, I'm really glad you brought that up, because technically that's not correct. You do get a bunch of funds here.
Good. Well, once again, Adam, this is all great information. People are afraid. They think it's so complex. Okay. They think that they have to do all this legwork. And guess what? We already have the database to help. We're not pushing anybody out there specifically. We're just trying to give assistance that they can still do their interview of 1 contractor, 2 contractors, 10 contractors to make sure they're a model match. The other thing is there's rules and regulations to just protect the consumer. We want them to not have, once again, I think we talked about it in our first one. We don't want the Tom Hanks, Shelley Long money pit problem. Okay. We want to make sure that the contractor goes out and does their bid. Then we get the appraisal done, and the appraisal is going to say what the after improvement value is. And we don't want to put the Taj Mahal in a place other than where it's supposed to be. Okay. So here in Las Vegas, we don't need a Taj Mahal here in my office, because guess what? That's going to be worth way too much money. So we want to make sure that somebody's not trying to over improve. Certain items just don't give you enough feedback and value. You put $100,000 backyard in on one of the programs we talked about, you may not get $100,000 on your value. A lot of houses nationwide have basements. Those are below grade. You can have a $100,000 basement, but you might only get $20,000, $30,000 in value. So we really want to protect the consumer. There's stopgaps and everything. But Adam, once again, you're amazing. You're a jack of all trades. You know everything that I need to know about renovation loans. We're really starting to pick up steam. I got a lot of great things happening. I actually talked to a young couple in Texas yesterday asking about a 4-unit primary residence renovation loan. And if they qualify, that could be as little as 5% down. How amazing is that? So Adam, once again, thank you for being on these 3 very, very important renovation podcasts with us over the last 30 days. And I appreciate our friendship, and we're going to continue to do some great things for wonderful people nationwide.
Yeah. Hey, my pleasure. I always appreciate the airtime, and it's just all about getting the word out, showing people about something that just needs a little bit more awareness out there. So again, appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend.